Bloomberg White House correspondent Josh Wingrove is in New Jersey, where the president is waking up this morning. Josh, where is the president's head on all this? What have you heard from White House officials? Is there a plan, or is this the new normal for the foreseeable future?
Well, they're keeping it ambiguous. You know, there's some reporting that he's considering ramping up options. Axios, for instance, reporting that they've moved tankers, air tankers, back into the region to prepare for a potential escalation of airstrikes. So he seems to be keeping options on the table, but where we'll see that go, we don't know. As you know, we have always been on guard on weekends in particular. It seems like that's really when the American attacks seem to peak up. So, you know, we'll see if we see something later today. It's too soon to say. I think more broadly, as we've discussed before, the president sort of has been de-emphasizing this in his remarks and kind of appears, frankly, you know, focusing on other things right now. And we've seen this before, of course, with Ukraine as well. He sort of got bored of talking about that and has focused on other things. And so right now we just continue to be watching this day by day, and there's no kind of end in sight. And it's unclear when, if at all, talks may resume or talks for talks may resume. We just start continuing to watch it bit by bit.
Talking about the talks.
Talking about the talks.
Very diplomatic.
Under the category of other things the president is watching or cares about, there is the Run, Darline, Run matter. His embrace of Lindsey Graham's sister, now the interim senator from the state of South Carolina, the president in a post on Truth Social encouraging her to put her hat in the ring for the primary to get the seat permanently. What do you make of this? I confess, I didn't know much about Lindsey Graham's sister before she was elevated to this position, but the president emphasizing his long relationship with her, his confidence in her. How is the president looking at her prospects and the importance of this race in particular, Josh?
President likes loyalty in senators, and in her speech when she became a senator, she talked about the importance of upholding his agenda. So if she's a trusted ally, it's perhaps not a surprise that the president, who is of course primaried or supported the primaries against a couple members of his current Senate conference, would value that. And so if he's with his endorsement, I think he is sort of taking a bird in hand approach with taking, backing her. And his endorsements have, of course, been very influential, if not decisive, across, basically every state over the course of this cycle. And I think that's important to remember, too, because, in other countries, maybe ones that are having trade tensions or whatnot, you're starting to see people look over the horizon, right? Oh, well, Trump will be gone in 2.5 years, and we can weather the storm until then, and this and that, and maybe the Republican Party will shift. President Trump will continue to have a very, very strong influence over the party, over its primaries, over the actions its leaders take, whether he's president or not, for quite some time. And so I think we're seeing that with this. And there's some reporting that other major candidates are now sort of reconsidering or still considering whether they will jump into the race, because running against a Trump-endorsed candidate would be a significantly uphill battle.
Josh, since you are our senior Canadian correspondent, I do want to go back to...
I'm sorry about the smoke.
Of course you just did that.
Did you guys plan that? I feel like that was a plan.
No.
I get so many texts,
Even though I'm still upset that David went to Aspen without me, he did talk to James and Gura and talk about the trade policies. In the last hour, we were talking about kind of the incrementalism of having to negotiate one-on-one with all these countries, the way they're trying to do this next round of tariffs. And the president is now threatening new tariffs on Canada because of the wildfires. He posted, Canada has refused to engage in basic forest management and debris removal. Sounds familiar to what he said with California last year, knowing that such refusal will lead to exactly this result. This is willful negligence, that's capitalized, and becoming a yearly occurrence costing the United States billions of dollars, which cost of this pollution must of necessity be added to the tariffs Canada is currently paying.
It's a complicated clause, by the way.
Yes, that's not easy to read. That's my second time, and I did no better the second time. Josh, what is going on here? Does the president really need another foreign policy fight, especially one that could impact how much Americans pay for things, including cars and other items that come across the border?
I mean, the notion of Canada, vacuuming the floor of its boreal forest or whatever. I mean, obviously, there's only so much you can do. To take this seriously, though, I mean, a Canadian national died fighting a forest fire this month in Colorado. This long-standing cooperation between these two countries. In those infamous California fires, it was Canadian water bombers you saw. Some of the stuff Trump says sort of goes off the back of Canada and Canadians. Other stuff they find particularly insulting. And I think this risks being in that second bucket because the country has spent so much time helping America fight its forest fires. That the notion that this is sort of like their fault, no one wants to smoke over it. It's over Canada too, of course, is I think going to prompt some blowback. Frankly, is already prompting blowback from Canadian officials. And so whether we see this factor into these negotiations and whatever is unclear. Just to remember where we are on this. Most of the trade between Canada and the U.S. right now is tariff-free because it's exempted under CUSMA, or as the Canadians call it, and USMCA after the Americans call it. And so Trump could adjust that exemption. That's a big fear of industries in the U.S. and in Canada. He could raise the baseline tariff through these 301 investigations, one of which is done, one of which is still in the hopper. Or he could try to adjust the sectoral tariffs to crank up tariffs on autos or steel, which are the two ones that are biting the Canadian economy in particular. So he does have avenues here if he wants, but it's also true that Canada has one of the lowest effective tariff rates in the world right now when it comes to accessing the U.S. market. And so if the price of that is looking the other way when the president gets upset every now and then,